calling it a riot. Some say it was a revolt.
But most everyone agrees that what happened Friday night at Wayne High School's football game was inappropriate. News Channel 15's Elizabeth Fields is in Studio 15 tonight to tell us about it.
Mark and Aisha, the game was stopped when players, coaches, and parents rushed the field after a ref made a call against a Wayne player. But when it comes to why things got out of hand, people have conflicting opinions. Some say it was this play in the last game of Wayne High School's football season. A call of unsportsmanlike conduct against a Wayne player that sparked the unrest. But many parents disagree. They say the problem started way before that. They say Coach Kyle Beauchamp, who was named just before the season started, never gained control of his players. Because of that, the players didn't respect their coach.
Not for 1 second am I condoning what those boys did. Those boys should have been better in the way they handled themselves. But again, they're 15, 16, 17, and in maybe a few cases 18-year-old boys that are not men yet.
This Wayne parent didn't want to be identified because he's afraid his opinion might cost his son playing time next season. But he says what happened Friday night was a perfect storm of emotions.
This hostility of the referees towards those players from the very beginning.
As the situation escalated out on the field, many parents made their way out of the stands and onto the track. And while some argue that only fueled the fire, the parents tell me that they were only trying to help.
We grabbed our boys, we moved them out because they were just roaming up and down the track, screaming, crying, yelling, throwing stuff, kicking trash cans. I mean, they had broken. And it was going to take adults with their heads on straight to grab them up and get them out of there before it got worse.
In all, 4 players and 2 coaches were thrown out of the game. Some parents want the coach to pay.
It's nothing personal against him. You know, I like him as a person, but I unfortunately cannot support him remaining in that position after this.
But school officials have this message for parents.
I would hope that with all the absolutely important issues we have to do in this community, that we don't make this bigger than it is. It was a Friday night football game, and this one was handled, and this one will be dealt with, and we're going to try to get our young men to understand the appropriate way to handle disappointments.
Now, this incident is also being investigated by the IHSAA officials. They say discipline could range from suspensions to removing the team from tournaments or even from the IHSAA program. Reporting from Studio 15, I'm Elizabeth Fields, News Channel 15.
And those IHSAA officials also say all of the players and coaches who were ejected will be suspended for at least 1 game. Since the season is over for Wayne, that means any players who aren't seniors and the affected coaches will miss the first game next season. As far as the accusations against its officials, the IHSAA will look into them but supports the calls.
Our contest officials are not out there to try to eject players and eject coaches from contests. You have to do something pretty egregious to get somebody thrown out of a game. And for anybody to suggest that the calls of the officials were such that they were biased or prejudiced that would create somebody to be ejected is simply false.
The IHSAA will meet with school leaders this week to talk about the final decision.